Hello everybody and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. Tonight I'm going to be talking to you about Knappogue Castle 12 Year. Now this is a special Irish whiskey that I have been looking forward to reviewing for quite a while. I actually did a live stream where I featured this and the 14 and the 16 year a few weeks back, so if you're interested, check it out up there. But I do want to just clarify something. So being, a dumb American, I always was saying Knappogue Castle. I think a lot of people probably would, until I read that it actually means Hill of the Kiss. Now, I've known some people from Ireland in my time, and I'm familiar with the phrase Pogue Mahone, right? Which I happen to know, and you can look up the definition yourself, but it involves the word kiss. So when I read that this actually means Hill of the Kiss, I realized that it wasn't Knappogue, it was Knappogue. So anyway, don't look like a fool, like I may very well have on previous episodes, and learn to pronounce things. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about this whiskey, especially the place that it is made. So in County Clare, there is the Knappogue Castle, and this was erected or created, whatever you want to say, in 1467. And for years, it was fine, and then it kind of fell into disarray. And then this guy, Mark Edwin Andrews, and his wife, Lavone, she was an architect. They decided to restore this castle. They purchased it for actually not that much money, if I remember correctly. I don't quite know what it was, but I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I could have owned a castle for that. But they bought this castle, they fixed it up, and Mark was more of a whiskey guy. He felt that his time was better served collecting rare whiskeys, and eventually he blended them together and ended up selling them called in a blend that he called Knappogue Castle 1951. And this, to this day, is one of the oldest and rarest Irish whiskeys that you can find. So if you ever find a bottle, by all means, send it to me. But for years and years and years, he would kind of put these together and he would sell them, and made some money, whatever. But then just kind of stopped. It was hard to get the product. So Mark's son in 1999 actually figured out how to put this together and actually blend properly so that he could essentially make an imitation of that famous 1951. And he sold it. And he sold it for a number of years. And over time just kind of made his own blends and did whatever until 2010, at which point he introduced this whiskey. And this whiskey has been selling well for years, actually, although you may never have heard of it. So something to know about this particular place is that they source their whiskey. They do source it most likely from Cooley, but also from other distilleries as well. So it's a blend. It's fine. It's sourced. Who cares? But the one thing that does, in my mind, set them apart is that they do not do any no age statement whiskeys. Everything they have has an age on it. So this is the 12, they have the 14, they also have the 16. And actually doing a little bit of research, I see that they might be doing a 21 pretty soon, which that I'm pretty excited about. So something else to know about this is basically this is a single malt Irish whiskey, and it is made from malted barley, 100%, and it's triple distilled. It is put into copper pot stills, and it's aged for 12 years in bourbon casks. So enough about the whiskey. Let's talk about the way it noses and tastes. All right. So I've mentioned this before, and some of you guys have questioned this. When I first pour these, especially for the reviews, you'll often see me swish it around here. It's because sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, pour it prior to filming the episode. And this is just a very quick way for me to aerate the whiskey a little bit so that it would be as if it was sitting out for, 5-10 minutes or so. So that's why I do it. Anyway, let's go ahead and nose. I am a big fan of the nose on this whiskey. This is very honey forward, which is usually a nose that a scent or whatever you want to call it, a note that I really enjoy. It's actually got a little bit of grass in there, just some fresh cut grass. It's got apples, specifically like a baked apple, so baked apple pie almost. So it's got a little bit of spice in there as well. And then I would say it's just overall very pleasant. I feel like I could smell this as like a candle in my house and I would be happy. All right, let's go ahead and have a taste. Cheers. So the taste is where this sets itself a little bit apart from some of its competitors. in my mind. It tastes very fruity, quality that I particularly have found myself enjoying lately, especially I think I'm like 110, 111, 12, something like that reviews in. I've actually swung towards fruitier whiskeys for whatever reason lately. So this is something I enjoy, but specifically because there are a couple of fruit notes in here that you do not often get, and those are specifically coconut and pineapple, which in real life, just regular food, those are things that I love too. So for me, this is great. Also has some orange in there. Also has a little bit of oak, a little bit of just that kind of, what do you want to say, like a honey. I've described this before, where it's not like honey where you might just think of like a honey flavored candy or something. It's more like that raw honey where it's just super honey. I don't know how else to describe it, but I hope you know what I'm talking about. And then on the finish, there's a little bit of like this dried mint leaf on your tongue. Very complex whiskey. I think this is just fantastic. So obviously my overall on this is going to be to buy this with a potential to stock it if this is something that you find yourself interested in. I think this at $30 to $35 is a very high potential for something that would be in my bar very often. I enjoy this. This is something that I personally pour for myself. As you can see, there's quite a bit gone. Usually isn't that much gone when I do these reviews. This is something I pour for myself when I'm not doing research and I'm actually just trying to sit on the couch and chill. All right, so that does it for this episode of the Whiskey Dictionary. Thank you very much for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Cheers.